at it, but the first 5 years, it looked like John Elway. And everybody's got a comp. And I said with Baker, everybody was given these grandiose comps, and I said, I think his comp is Case Keenum with a better arm. He's got a better arm than Case. Athletic ability, size. Case is more mature. Baker's got a better arm, but it kind of looks the same to me. That was considered clickbait and outrageous. They're now on the same team. And about a week ago, there was a scrimmage for the Browns. I'd like to read you what Mary Kay Cabot reported. Here's what happened at the scrimmage. Mayfield got a slight wake-up call a couple of weeks ago. His first team offense lost the scrimmage to Case Keenum in the second team offense. And Mayfield was working against the second team defense. And Keenum, who had the second team offense, was facing the first team defense. Oh, by the way, the session ended with Baker throwing a pick in a goal line situation. Oh, is that clickbait? Now, I think Baker's going to have a good year. But I think Case Keenum, if he was starting today with this roster, would have a good season. And if Baker does go 11-5, don't send me your tweets, because Case Keenum went 13-3 a couple years ago when he had talent. Ask yourself this: who do you trust? I trust Vegas, Fox Bet, people that are in the gaming space. The Browns, with all this talent, have an over-under of 8.5. If Case Keenum was announced the starter today, you really think it would drop precipitously? I mean, if you had a great quarterback with these weapons, like Mahomes, it would be 11.5. Aaron Rodgers, 11. Russell Wilson, 11.5. With all these weapons, Noah's Ark, 2 of everything, the over-under in Cleveland with Baker is 8.5. And that's guaranteeing 2 wins easily over Cincinnati. If Case Keenum's the starter tomorrow, what do you think? It drops to what? 6? Nah. Case Keenum won 13 games a couple years ago with Minnesota. I am not saying Case is better than Baker. What I am saying is what you viewed as a clickbait. Now they play together, scrimmaging. It's not crazy. Baker is talented, but he's not top 6, 7, 8, 9. We got to slow down. Never was. We got to slow down on that. All right. I know a football season is official when I bring Greg Cosell on. This is like Christmas without the snow and the chill. Greg Cosell, 41 years at NFL Films, is joining us by the phone today. I can't even believe, even my wife said this. She goes, it's going to be so weird to watch Tom Brady in an orange uniform and Bill Belichick is not on the sideline, and my wife doesn't even like sports. And listen, I don't recall what you had said. I mean, Tom's obviously got a lot of weapons. The running back position is much better today than it was a year ago in Tampa. But I do look at Brady as not much of a playmaker now, more of he's excellent when in terms of efficiency. So, but this offense has some deep threats and downfield throw guys. How do you think it all looks early, Greg, Tampa Bay, Tom, and these weapons?
Well, assuming everybody's healthy, Colin, I think that it will be a very interesting mix of Bruce Arians' approach, which is being aggressive and pushing the ball down the field, and what Brady does really well, which is a lot of play action, quick game. We saw what they did in New England the last number of years, all those bang play action throws in the middle of the field. He certainly has tight ends to work with. Godwin is phenomenal working between the numbers, very strong, very physical. So the parts are in place to run both an Arians offense and a Tom Brady offense. And Arians has been doing this a long time, and I think he'll mix and match, and it will end up being a very, very effective offense. But I just want to say one thing. You said something that fascinated me about being efficient versus being a playmaker. Do we believe now that you cannot be a high-level NFL quarterback if you're not, quote-unquote, a playmaker? In other words, a Mahomes, a Watson, players who make plays outside of the structure of the play call and the design of the play. Is that now absolutely part of the game? In other words, are we not going to see Tom Brady's and Drew Brees' and Phillip Rivers anymore?
I think the way the game has changed, they will still win games. But when you face a Mahomes and you do not have that element in your game, and Mahomes and the young quarterbacks are increasingly efficient and make plays, I'm not saying it's going away, but the structure, the rules, I think the added playmaking with increased efficiency, because I think Mahomes will just get more efficient over time.
I would agree.
I think it's going to be, I'm not saying Jared Goff can't win games, but if I get Mahomes' efficiency and the over-the-top playmaking, boy, that's a rough obstacle, right?
No, and I'm not disputing that, but it's interesting that Jared Goff was in a Super Bowl 2 years ago, did not win, obviously. Jimmy Garoppolo was in the Super Bowl last year, didn't win, but played reasonably well. So that's a question that I spent all summer as I've broken down at home while I was, as we all were at home, I was anyway. I watched probably 20 quarterbacks did deep dives, and it's a question every single day watching tape. I kept going back and forth in my head as to the evolution of the quarterback position and where we're going.
Yeah. It's really funny. So Pete Carroll, big at USC, and then he goes to Seattle and he wins a Super Bowl, and we have just anointed Pete as he is he's just tremendous. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. But now analytics are coming in. Now the Wolves are sharpening their teeth, and people are saying, listen, they run the football too much. Russell Wilson has to. It's kind of a Jurassic offense at times. The offensive line play has not been good. And Wilson seems like increasingly Russell is saving a very outdated offense. Is that a fair criticism when you look at film of Pete Carroll and what their dimensions offensively?
Well, here's the way I would answer that question. And I love Russell Wilson. I think he's going to be the league MVP this year. I love the player. But for years now, I think he's been in the league 8 years.
Yeah.
So they've had the same head coach, but they've had two different coordinators, and they've chosen to play this way from day one.
Yes.
So the question is why? And only Pete Carroll can really answer that. So are they playing this way because Pete Carroll is beholden to a philosophy no matter who the quarterback is? Or are they playing this way because as good as we all think Russell Wilson is, and there's no question he's really good, that's not my point, but that they believe that they get the best out of Russell Wilson playing this way, and if they were to quote-unquote let him loose, as a lot of people are saying, that would somehow diminish his play. So they're with him every day, Colin. We're not. So I don't know the answer to that, but they've chosen to play this way for all 8 years that Russell Wilson's been in the league.
Yeah. It's driving some people crazy. I'm one of them.
No, I love, believe me, I love Russell Wilson. I mean, this is a team, they get their big plays in two ways. They go max pro, and they push the ball down the field in normal down and distance situations, or Russell Wilson moves around and is as good as there is in making those second reaction improvisational plays. But they're not a team that comes out throwing the ball.
They're not.
This team is built, as you said, there's no mystery to their offense. It's run the ball with base runs, play action, and play action boot. That's what their offense is.
So I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers. 2 years ago, there was a discussion. I did not buy into it, but it was a narrative and a discussion on talk shows. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, which is the GOAT? To which I said, I don't think it's really close. I think Montana, Peyton Manning, Elway, you can argue people. I need more of Aaron. I need more years. Now we see 3 straight years of Aaron's declining passer rating and completion percentage. Now it's always the push-pull, the egg, we always ask about that. Is it Green Bay's front office doesn't give him weapons, or is it Aaron who's not coachable? I do think they have a star receiver, a star back, and a way above average offensive front. When you now in your offseason look at Aaron Rodgers and we point fingers at the decline, what do you see?
Well, and I've talked about this with you for years, and I think when you look at Aaron Rodgers, you see a player who is supremely talented, capable of making outside-of-structure plays at the highest level in the game, can make any throw to any part of the field from any body position, any platform, throwing platform. And this is not an interpretation. This is what the tape tells you. There are a lot of throws within structure that he leaves on the field. And he now has a coach whose background is somewhat Kyle Shanahan, who believes in pure structure, that the scheming of the offense dictates how the quarterback is going to play and where he throws the football. And I don't know what's in Aaron Rodgers' head, Colin, neither do you, I'm sure. But maybe he struggles with that. I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you that the film shows that there are too many throws that he leaves on the field. I think he only threw 3 touchdowns last year